Alright, this is John Cola with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. In this episode we're going to go ahead and compare two probably high-end premium juicers that are on the market at this time. Now both these machines are vertical slow auger juicers, which are a certain type of juicer, much like there's many different pairs of shoes. You might have a pair of shoes for running, you might have a pair of shoes for hiking, you might have a pair of shoes for the beach, you might have a pair of shoes for, a wedding or, those dress-up occasions. Juicers are kind of like that. And of course you might have some all-purpose shoes. I tend to wear some all-purpose shoes that are good for most things. And in my opinion, the vertical juicers are kind of like the all-purpose shoes. They don't really focus or specialize on juicing any one particular kind of produce. They could pretty much juice them all, much like a pair of shoes that you could use for multiple different uses, alright? That being said, if you have special needs and you want to use specific produce items, then I would recommend getting a different style juicer. If you want to juice lots of leafy greens, then you want to get a horizontal single auger juicer. If you want to juice lots of root vegetables such as carrots and get the highest yield as well as the most nutrition, then you want to go for something like a dual gear or twin gear juicer. Alright. Today's episode we're going to be concerned with the vertical single auger machines, which are my favorite style machine that are out there. Of all the different juicers that are out there, I use a vertical single auger in my kitchen because it is the most versatile and I like it a lot. But today we're comparing two of them, the high-end premium machines. This is the Hurom H-AI. This clocks in at $699, which is, pretty expensive. And its claim to fame is basically an automatic feeding chute. So it's the world's first self-feeding juicer is what Hurom is claiming on there. And yes, it does kind of self-feed, but the thing is you still need to cut some produce up. And then on the other side we have the Kuvings EVO820. This is Kuvings' premium flagship high-end model that includes basically all the different accessories that others don't, although they have an optional accessory you guys could get with this. It has a full 10-year warranty, has a latest system for locking with several improvements over their previous versions. So yeah, each of them have their own pros and cons, and in this episode you guys are going to learn about the pros and cons of each one in detail. So, sit back, relax, and grab a juice and watch while I basically go over each of these machines part by part, explaining all the different things that come with the machine, and also doing a demonstration of juicing basically a natural lemonade with apples, lemon, and some ginger at the end of this episode, so you guys can see how long it takes to juice in each machine as well as how much yield is produced. I think the first thing I want to talk about is the specifications of the machines. They're both kind of similar, but they're a little bit different. Both these machines run at 60 RPMs or revolutions per minute, so in my opinion this is a cold press juicer. Literally it crushes and grinds up the produce and squeezes out the juice. That's going to ensure you have the highest quality juice, unlike those high-speed machines that not only sound loud, but according to scientific studies, lower some of the phytonutrients that are actually in the juice. The other thing about these machines, aside from being a slow juicer, it's important for me that you guys get a juicer with a long warranty, right? If you go and buy an inexpensive juicer at a big box store, might have a short 90-day, maybe 1-year warranty. These machines have serious warranty. So the Hurom, as it's advertised on its website there, has a full 10-year warranty. So you're like thinking, wow, John, that sounds great. It has a 10-year warranty. But if you read the fine print, the 10-year warranty is basically just on the motor body itself here, and or the motor itself. And the motor, in my opinion, is the least likely thing to fail. Now, these parts here on the Hurom only have a 2-year warranty, which is longer than most inexpensive juicers, but still fairly short in my opinion. Meanwhile, if we go over to the Kuvings, on the motor here, they have a full 10-year warranty on that as well, and then on all the parts and whatnot, there's also a full 10-year warranty as well. So that's like 5 times longer than the parts on the Hurom. And in my opinion, and from what I've seen, the most likely part to fail on a juicer are some of the juicing parts, specifically the juicing screen, and some other parts may have some issues as well, but the juicing screen is likely to break, and if your juicing screen breaks and you're out of warranty, or you cause the damage to the juicing screen, you have to pony up, and juicing screens could cost $70 or more. So, by investing in a juicer that actually has a good warranty and a company to stand behind it, it could save you time, hassle, and frustration in the future. All right, so that's a warranty. I guess next what I want to do is we're going to go ahead and get into a deep dive and get into different parts and accessories that both machines come with. Then we're going to go ahead and disassemble the machines so you guys can see the differences. So now we're back and we have all the different accessories that each of these machines come with for the most part here, and I want to share those with you guys. So as you guys can see, literally the Kuvings is a premium package, and it comes with lots of different accessories and parts, really to ensure you guys have the best juicing experience, and more importantly so that your juicer could do more than just juice. Meanwhile, here on the Hurom side, there's some accessories and it's kind of cool, but it's a little more shy on the accessories. So I guess first we'll go over what comes with the Hurom. So with the Hurom, you actually get this secondary juicing screen. This is a coarse screen, so it actually has larger screen holes. And this is if you want to make a juice that has more pulp in it, or maybe if you're juicing fruits, this screen might work better. And this just goes in to replace the fine hole screen that's already included with the machine. Next here, we have the feed chute top. So, this is the automatic self-feeding feed chute top that comes with the H-AI. This is why it makes it the H-AI. Of course, it just comes with a standard feed chute top that you can put on and use this like a standard Hurom juicer. Now, if you're just going to use a standard top, then you might as well save yourself a couple $100 because you can get a standard Hurom juicer for less than the H-AI that comes with this auto feeding top. So, it's nice that they include this, and I would actually probably use this more because it's probably going to save you guys some time. And then, of course, you have a little pusher that goes with the feed chute. And then you have 2 cleaning brushes, which is nice. They give you a cleaning brush to clean the juicing screen. Like this brush here, and it's cleaning the screen on any juicer takes the most amount of time. And then they give you a little bottle brush here to clean inside some of the passageways of the juicer there. And finally with the Hurom, you get the standard instruction guide here, and you get a recipe booklet. Now this recipe booklet looks pretty cool because it's kind of thick, but the challenge with this is that it's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different languages, and really the instruction booklet that's in English is maybe no more than, 13 pages. 14 pages. So, that's not a lot of recipes in this premium juicer here. Also, you do get the collection bins that come with the Hurom, including a collection bin here on the bottom that catches all the pulp as it comes out of the machine. And then you have the standard collection cup that catches the juice marked up to 900 milliliters. Alright. Over on the Kuvings side, a little bit different story. This comes with a lot of different things. Number one, instead of just coming with 1 cleaning brush or 2 cleaning brushes like many juicers, it actually comes with 3 cleaning brushes. So the Hurom actually had a toothbrush like this and a brush like this. The Kuvings also comes with this screen cleaning tool that's innovative, that literally you put around the screen and you basically just rotate it back and forth, and this helps you to clean the screen faster than you can by just simply scrubbing the brush all the way around, which takes more time. So I like the cleaning brush package better on the Kuvings. Of course, this also comes with a pusher, and the interesting thing is I do not recommend you guys use the pusher to push any produce item into the any vertical juicer. You guys should be just letting it auto feed in. The only reason you should use a pusher is something's getting stuck up and actually not dropping into the juicer as it should. I'll post a link down below to a video I made called Juice Like a Pro in Any Vertical Slow Juicer. We really want all you guys to watch that who will buy a vertical slow juicer, so that you are using the machine properly. If you don't use the machine properly, a vertical juicer could be your worst nightmare. Seriously. Next here, actually instead of just it has a fine screen inside the machine that it comes installed with, and then you get 2 accessories that are included that allow you to do more than just juicing. So now your Kuvings EVO820 can now turn into, with this machine, basically a sorbet maker. So you can make frozen fruit sorbets with this attachment. So you could, instead of eating ice cream, which is high calories, they add all kinds of different additives. You could just literally freeze your own peeled bananas in the freezer, take them out, thaw them a little bit, and then put them through the EVO820 with this attachment, and you'll have basically banana ice cream. It's 100% bananas, but it tastes just like ice cream because bananas really cream up a lot when you put it through a juicer like this. The other attachment you guys are going to get is this. While it does look like that screen here that comes with the Hurom, it's different actually. So while this one is has a coarse holes or larger holes, the bottom is completely closed. So what this allows you to do, this allows you to turn your Kuvings EVO820 into a low-speed blender to make smoothies, just for smoothies. It doesn't do anything else. I don't think you could be doing all kinds of other things. This is basically just it allows you to make smoothies in the EVO820 at low speed, which I kind of like. It's kind of a unique item if you do want to make low RPM smoothies. That being said, I prefer to use a vacuum blender such as the Kuvings vacuum blender instead of using this attachment. Let's see, next they have actually, of course, the standard instruction manual in multiple language, and then they have their recipe books. Now, their recipe book, this is over 100 pages here, full color, really nice, and this is not in 8 languages or 6 languages. This is just in English, so you guys are going to get significantly more recipes with the Kuvings than with the Hurom, which is something I also like on a premium style juicer. Next, let's see, they have 2 collection bins, and the collection bins, if we look at those, this is the Pulp collection bin on the Hurom here, and it's significantly smaller than that of the Kuvings. Actually, this guy will almost fit in there. It's going to hold more pulp. It's supersized, and then of course the juice collection cup, once again on the Kuvings, is larger than that comes with the Hurom. This is marked up to 900 milliliters, and this is marked up to 1,000, and that's still with even some room on the top. Plus, you get a nice juicing sieve here. Vertical juicers can put more pulp in the juice than other style machines, and so I like Kuvings that they include a sieve to remove the extra pulp out of the juice if you don't want it. The Hurom does actually not have such an option, so you'd have to actually buy your own. So I think it's like these little things that make the Kuvings kind of nice, all these different parts and accessories that they're already including. And then the other part that they're including is this wrench. Now this wrench may not look like much, but this wrench is an innovation, in my opinion, in vertical single auger juicers. One of the challenges that people can have with their vertical single auger juicer when they're done juicing is that, John, I'm done juicing and now I try to take the top off and it doesn't come off because it's stuck. And in my opinion, the reason why it's getting stuck is because you're just haphazardly putting things in, without pre-cutting, like leafy greens and celery, and you're also using a pusher to push things in too fast, faster than the juicer could accept it, so that instead of coming out how it should and being juiced properly, it's basically building up inside the chamber. This causes a force on the juicing lid here, which then causes it to get stuck. And I get an email probably once every week or so, John, my juicer's stuck, what do I do? And of course I've made many videos about that, but the solution Kuvings has come up with is give you guys leverage to put this on the machine, and then basically, I think it goes on this direction, then basically you could get leverage and you could basically get your juicer unstuck and get it apart simply and easily. So while this doesn't look like much, it is actually quite amazing. Now the other thing that you guys don't realize is that while this is the included package with their premium juicer, they do make one optional accessory that I would like to see them include with the machine, and that's basically their citrus attachment. So you could basically take this citrus attachment and it basically fits right on top of the machine, and now it turns your EVO into a just simple citrus maker to juice the citrus. Now of course you can juice citrus in the EVO just by peeling oranges and grapefruits and tangerines and putting them through the machine, or you could put in lemons and limes whole with the skin and all. There's indigestible chemicals in oranges and grapefruits that should not be eaten. So yeah, you could buy this and it costs you extra, but at least they have this. So overall I kind of like the accessory package on the Kuvings. It allows you basically more flexibility, and they've kind of put some thought into and provided more value, especially with this recipe book if you've never gotten into juicing before. Then the next thing I want to do is we're going to go ahead and show you guys the different parts of the juicers and compare them side by side. I want to show you guys actually the different juicers part by part so you guys can see the differences and learn how they work specifically. So basically the machines work by you put the produce in, it gets juiced, and that's how normal vertical auger juicers work. With the Hurom here, it's a little bit different because they have this this hopper here that actually will store your produce for you that you're going to fill up, and then as the machine's running, it's going to basically chop up the produce before it goes into the machine. And so that's a little bit different. So on this part you have basically a lid here, and then this is kind of like a little food processor. You have a little food processor like blade which goes into the hopper here, where you basically will load up all your pre-cut food. You know, just because it has is self-feeding, you need to pre-cut things into like a 1-inch pieces. You know, instead on the Kuvings they made this a little bit easier than having to pre-cut your food in a 1-inch pieces. They basically have the largest feed chute on any vertical slow juicer out there. You're like thinking, John, that's a small feed chute, man. That's just that little circle there. So that's for feeding carrots. But where the feed chute gets big is if you click this little lever here, and this pops up, and now the width between here is 3.2 inches. And so you can basically take full apples without pre-cutting them and just drop them in the machine quickly and easily, in my opinion, saving you guys time. All right. The produce then is funneled through this little funnel, which then it goes into the auger, which is right down below. So let's go ahead and pull the augers out of both machines. So these are the augers on both machines. They're both made out of the GE Ultim material. The auger shape is different just because this machine basically has to take full produce, crush it all up, you know, so that you don't have to pre-cut it into smaller pieces to fit in, and then it gets pre-cut once on the top. And then these augers try to cut it a little bit more, and basically what both these augers do is they grind up the produce and literally extract the juice. So, I mean, on the bottom, I do like the Hurom because it's basically open on the bottom, makes it a lot easier to clean. The Kuvings has an opening on the bottom that you need to clean out, but there's a motor shaft in the bottom. And the thing is, always when you're done juicing, there's always going to be pulp, for the most part, underneath the auger. So don't freak out when there's pulp underneath the auger. That's just standard practice on these vertical auger juicers. The recess underneath the auger is there to help build in some kind of, you know, the control so that the auger doesn't get jacked up, right? And so this is the new style design. Many inexpensive machines from China still have a flat bottom auger, which in my opinion is not so good. All right, next coming out are the juicing screens and the wiping blades. So these are fairly similar, although a little bit different. We could pull out the juicing screen here and the juicing screen here. This is also made out of the GE Ultim material. That's a really strong and durable plastic. And if we look at the juicing screens, they're both a little bit different. This is more short and stout. This is a little bit taller. Honestly, for cleaning wise, I kind of like the Hurom just because it's easier to get in from the bottom and on the top to clean the juicing screen. And to me, it looks like there's actually more surface area of the holes for where the juice could come out when you are juicing. Let's see here. Other than that, I mean, it's basically a frame with the screen in there, and then of course the Hurom is closed on the bottom, and that will keep all the pulp and things inside the juicing screen, so that's going to make your bowl easier to clean, whereas on the Hurom, it just basically lets that all through on the bottom. Next, we have the wiping blades, which are fairly similar. They basically spin around the juicing screen to wipe down the juicing screen holes to keep the juice flowing, and also wipe down the container a little bit. And these are also fairly similar. You know, the Hurom a little bit smaller, so it's going to take a little bit less time to clean. And both of them have gearing teeth on the bottom that actually that are driven by little gear in the bottom of the machine to make this actually spin. I'm not a big fan of these gears on the bottom because you have to like get in there and clean them every single time, and you might get buildup over time if you're not, you know, being careful. All right, next we got the juicing bowls. So the juicing bowls are similar, yet a little bit different. I like the simplicity of the Kuvings bowl because basically it's just a bowl just like you'd eat out of a cereal bowl. It's just completely flat on the bottom. There is this gear that you will have to clean, but the good news about this gear is that there will be no pulp on this gear. It'll just be juice because all the pulp is staying inside the juicing screen. This is going to be fairly easy to clean when you're done. There is actually no kind of flap that you'll see on the Hurom to pull out, to push in, to do anything with. Also, they have a cutout here on the top where the pulp comes out to really get in there easily and clean. In addition, they have a pulp stopper or a juice stopper that keeps the juice inside the machine. If you want to do mixing in the machine or when you're done juicing, you could close the stopper so you don't get drips on your counter. I prefer to only use this for not allowing this to drip on my counter, because in my testing, if you keep the juice inside there to mix, the pulp comes out a little bit wetter, which means you're losing a little bit, but not so much yield. And then finally, underneath this bowl here, there's some gearing. So what happens is, as this motor is spinning, it spins this little gearing here, which then turns this little white gear, which makes the wiping blade spin. And so there's no additional kind of motor shafts or anything to come up, so this is a bit cleaner design. Then on the Hurom, that actually has a whole nother gear come up out of the motor base that actually spins their little orange gear in there. Now this is a lot more complex piece, also a lot heavier comparing these two. For some reasons I like the Hurom bowl better, and for others I like the Kuvings. Kuvings definitely going to be easier to clean. I like on the Hurom bowl that the bowl is sloped, so if you're just holding this flat, if you just look at it, this basically slants all the juice to come out the spout, which is really nice. I do like that a lot. This is a nice heavy-duty close. It's almost even a little bit too hard to close. It even squeaks a little bit. That could be a little bit easier. And then the other thing I like is that on this bowl there's actually a built-in a seal, and the motor shaft that comes into the bottom goes into an input shaft, and then it goes out to the output shaft. So that basically this means that you'll never get any kind of juice leakage on the top of the motor body. This has been a problem with some juicers in the past that don't have a good gasket seal. Kuvings has solved that by actually putting the gasket inside the juicing bowl, so it's rare that I see any leaks on the Kuvings. Hurom handled it by adding additional bearing and seals, which is, in my opinion, one extra thing to fail, and this is only covered under the 2-year warranty, not the 10-year warranty. In addition, Hurom has a little pulp flap. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a little lever here. It's another gadget thing that you have to deal with and then clean at the end. This pulp flap could be either open, closed, or partial. We're going to go ahead and put it to close. But anyways, what this pulp flap is on the bottom, you'll see there's a little piece moving right down there. It's a silicone flap that basically is the gatekeeper to keep the pulp inside the machine to help get it drier before it lets it out. This can be difficult to clean because it's on a single plane just moving back and forth. Kind of hard to get underneath there to clean it. That'd be my complaint about it. Now I do like how the pulp comes out on the Hurom. It basically goes through this little hole and comes straight down into the pulp catch bin. Now I do need to point out that on previous videos I had neglected to find this little piece inside the box when I did do videos with the H-AI. This piece should have been on here, which then would have prevented some of the issues I had with pulp, kind of coming out the front, because it was my negligence and I didn't find that piece. So finding that piece was really cool. Looks like it fits in really clean. Looks a lot cleaner now. I can't believe that I didn't see it earlier. All right. So yeah, that's all the different basic parts. I think that's pretty much it. So next thing I want to do is we're going to go ahead and reassemble each machine piece by piece. Now it's very important that you follow this procedure properly, because if you don't reassemble the machine properly and you turn it on for the first time, it doesn't work, and you're like, John, my machine doesn't work. That's because there are safety interlock switches on both these machines that if the machine is not properly assembled, it will not turn on. So I would encourage you guys to pay attention for this part of the video. So the Hurom, really simple and easy to assemble. Basically, you're just going to take the juicing bowl. It just sits right on top right there. Then we're going to take the wiping blade and the juicing screen, just plug that right in. And this basically goes right in and sets right in, locks right in. Then we're going to take the auger. The auger goes right in, and it drops in actually quite easily, easier than basically any other juicer, vertical juicer I've tested. Next we have the automatic feeding chute apparatus that locks into place. You have to basically line up this arrow on the front to the locking mechanism, and you put it unlocked, and then you put it to locked, and it clicks in. Then you're going to put the blade right down in there. And finally going to take this little top piece. It goes on top, and once again they have an unlock picture and a lock. Turn that to lock, and then if you did it right, the machine should turn on. Runs at a low and slow 60 RPMs, fairly quiet. Now this does have a 200 watt motor. Over on the Kuvings, a similar deal to assemble. There's a lot less pieces actually, which also means it's going to be easier to clean. The juicing bowl just sits right there up on top. Then we have the wiping blade and the juicing screen. Just put that right in. There's a red dot here that corresponds with a red dot here. Line that up, line the red dots up, and then this drops into place. Then the auger goes right in, and that drops into place as well. And then your feed chute, you have a red dot here, open and close. You're going to line the red dot up with a red dot to the open and then slide it to the close. And if you've done that properly, this machine should turn on. So this machine, I don't know if you guys heard the difference, but this machine stands a lot more stout than this guy. Let's turn that back on. But anyways, this machine has a 240 watt motor. So John, this one's more powerful. Is it better because of 40 watts? You know, I don't know that I'd necessarily say just because a wattage on the motor is higher means it's a better motor. You know, the Hurom motor could be actually a more efficient and better motor than the Kuvings, you know. But I can say that both these machines have good motors that are going to basically juice through most common fruits and vegetables without giving you guys any issues. So yeah, that's pretty much the assembly, disassembly, the machines, what they come with. What are you guys thinking so far? Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. And the other thing I want to go over before I get into the juicing with these two machines is that if you guys appreciate and enjoy my videos and they have been valuable for you, I would encourage you guys to support me and my work by making your purchase at discountjuicers.com. This allows me to continue to pay my light bill, you know, buy the produce that I'm using to juice, buy the produce that I'm actually eating in my life, and it allows me to continue to make these videos so that I can educate the public about the different juicers and show you guys the truth. You know, I'm not hired by any company. You know, I do get sample units to make these videos to share with you guys how these machines perform. But you know, I'm just like you guys. The reason why I make these videos is not because I'm trying to sell you a juicer. I'm trying to sell you on actually the concept of juicing. And I don't care which juicer you guys end up with. I know juicing is one of the biggest things that you guys could do in your life that could change your life for the better. It could, you know, I've gotten healed, in my opinion, by adding fruit and vegetable juices as well as making other dietary changes in my life. And I know that it can help you too if you take that first step, if you get the right juicer. And I want you guys to get the right juicer because, you know, over 25 years ago now, I had to buy a juicer. And I didn't get the right one for me at the time. I wish I had somebody like me that made videos like this so I could be like, I'm going to get that one because I like everything that does. And I want to encourage you guys to check my other videos. I have over 500 episodes on this YouTube channel comparing and contrasting all the different models so that you guys could pick the right one for you and you guys could become a juicer for life. And of course, when you guys make a purchase, if you purchase at discountjuicers.com, this allows me to continue my mission. So I thank you guys in advance for those of you guys that will purchase from me. And I want to thank you guys for those of you guys that have purchased from me in the past. It's much appreciated so I can continue to do the work I love, which is basically share the knowledge of the fruits and vegetables and the appliances that allow you to eat more of them. So now we're all set up and ready to juice. We got our collection cups with sieves to find out how much pulp each juicer puts in the juice, as well as our produce all measured out and weighed out. So let's go ahead and do a weigh-in to make sure we have a fair fight. As you guys can see, we have two sets of produce, identical. We're juicing apples, Meyer lemon, and ginger to make the natural lemonade. Over on the Hurom side, looks like we have 1530 grams of produce. Over on the Kuvings side, also 1530 grams of produce. Going back up, you guys can see we got 1530 on both scales. Now that we got the weigh-in, let's go ahead and move these scales out of the way and let's go ahead and get to juicing. So what I'll be doing for you guys today is we're gonna go ahead and time to see how long each juicer takes to juice here. And I also want to show you guys actually how I'm going to prepare some of the produce for juicing. So I think first we're going to go ahead and juice in the Kuvings since I know that's going to take less time. You know, Hurom did put out a video comparing it to an older model Kuvings which basically said, oh yeah, even on apples it won't fit in the machine, you got to cut them anyways, and it showed that like their machine was better because of this. And in my opinion, that was kind of like a misleading video. And so that's one of the reasons why that prompted this video, to just share the truth with you guys, is show how long it takes, right? I think the lemon on here, it's just too big for the Kuvings. It's not even going to fit in, so I might have to cut that in half. But everything else I pretty much could drop into the Kuvings to get it to juice here. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and hit the start button, turn this machine on, and start dropping in apples whole into the machine. And that's one of the amazing things about the Kuvings. Literally just take the whole apple, drop it in, it self-feeds, and the juice comes out and the pulp comes out. What I'm going to do is we're going to have to go ahead and cut this this nice lemon in half so that it actually will fit in the feed chute there. Then we're going to go ahead and follow it by an apple. Now, to save you guys some time, we're just going to go ahead and speed this up. I'm going to juice the rest of this stuff and come back at you when it's done. So I just put the last apple into the Kuvings there. The Kuvings has been having some challenges with getting things stuck into the machine. The apple is basically kind of just getting hit by the auger and it's kind of spinning around on the top. And so I guess we're just going to go ahead and let this run and process until it sucks it all the way in. Alright, finally it's gotten sucked all the way in. That being said, there is some pulp sitting on top of the auger here that is really not going in. You know, that's because I'm juicing all apples today. If I was like juicing apples with carrots, it would work a lot better, because the carrot pulp would help, the hard, firm carrot pulp will help push the softer apple pulp through the machine. So we have a significant amount of pulp still sitting on the top of the machine that actually did not get in, and this is going to hurt the yield of the Kuvings here. Now I want to let you guys know to keep running the machine when you're done putting the last produce item in until the pulp stops ejecting out, and until the juice stops dripping out in any significant way. So we're just going to go ahead and let this run. Now we have created a significant amount of pulp here that I have been having to basically shake down. You know, especially if you're using softer apples, they're going to tend to make more apple sauce than actually apple juice, and that's why I'm choosing to use a sieve today to strain it out. Alright, so it looks like the Kuvings is not really going down anymore. We're going to go ahead and hit the stop button. Oh man, I hit the reset. So hopefully you guys saw that before I hit the reset. So it took about 4.5 minutes of juice in the Kuvings. Now let's go ahead and see how long it takes to juice in the Hurom. So I think we are all set up and ready to juice. Now we will have to be pre-cutting some of the produce to put in to the Hurom here. So I guess we're going to go ahead and hit start and get to work. I think if I cut each apple into like quarters, I probably should be good. Should fit in pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and load up some of these apples while we get this running. We're going to go ahead and stick the ginger in whole and put the top on. Hopefully we should fit, and turn it on. We're going to go ahead and let this juice while I'm pre-cutting all the other produce. So we're trying to see if we could beat 4.5 minutes. So I think we're done in the Hurom here. Pretty much everything has gone in that it's going to go in. The juice is barely dripping out. We're going to go ahead and hit the stop button this time. Look at that, man. That took nearly 9 minutes versus 4.5 minutes on the Kuvings. So that took actually double the amount of time which is totally insane. I mean, it just shouldn't take this long to juice this many apples. I mean, if I was just using a standard feed chute, I could have just been dropping them in. It would have been faster than this auto feed chute thing. The auto feed chute thing, in my opinion, is definitely not going to save you time. Alright, so we've been shaking that down a lot. And now what I want to do for you guys is we're going to go ahead and compare the yields and see how much each juicer actually produced in juice. Let's go ahead and do a close-up on the yields for you guys. Looks like over on the Hurom side, looks like we pretty much made straight up like 1 liter of juice. And then over on the Kuvings side, did not perform as well. Looks like it probably made a little bit tough with the foam layer on there, but it looks like to me it's about 850 milliliters of juice. So that's 150 milliliters less of juice. So you guys just saw the Hurom actually out-yielded the Kuvings when juicing, and I want to, ask myself, why is that? Well, there's a few reasons. Number one, if there's extra pulp in the juice, then that may artificially inflate the amount of juice that was made. So if like there's fine pulp that actually got through the sieve, and I want to compare the sieves for you guys. These are the 2 sieves and how much pulp is in each sieve. I mean, it looks like definitely the Kuvings put more pulp in the sieve than the Hurom for sure. The Hurom pulp looks to be a little bit more finer to me. Let's go ahead and taste it. This is like applesauce basically. It tastes just like applesauce. It's actually quite good. Interesting. To me, the Kuvings applesauce tastes actually a little bit smoother, like it broke down a little bit better. And maybe that's why it caused more pulp to be in the screen, because it was so smooth it kind of clogged some of the holes, whereas the Hurom pulp didn't go through and was stuck more easily. Next, we're going to go ahead and taste test the juices. Taste test number 1, the Kuvings juice over on this side. It's a really nice mouthfeel. Put just enough ginger in there and got the apple in there. I mean, this is the world's best lemonade. You don't need to use sugar for sweetener. Use natural fruits. You get the benefits of some of the sweetness of the fruits, but also the other polyphenols, vitamins and minerals, antioxidants that are in there. It's quite good. Now we're going to go ahead and try the Hurom juice. Just as I had suspected, the Hurom juice seems a little more like thick, more like maybe smoothie. Consistency, and that has to do with how they're grinding, and it's actually going through the sieve. But also, the Kuvings juice has been settled a while because it's been sitting here. Yeah. So that's interesting. Anyways, I want to go into why did the Hurom actually make more than the Kuvings. And I'm going to go ahead to illustrate this. I'm going to go ahead and take apart the machines. Taking apart the top part, you'll have to clean this. There's definitely more parts on the Hurom you will have to clean for sure. You have this part here. And if you guys see, even on the top of the Hurom, I mean, I let this run a little bit. We had some stuff that actually did not get juiced up inside there. And I mean, I let it run for a couple of minutes. It looks like basically what was happening is the blade was spinning around, and this piece of apple got right below the blade, so really it could have just sat there forever. As well as there's some, apple fragments and things inside here that just plain did not get juiced. All right. Next, coming apart, we got the auger here. So you can see in the auger, there's definitely pulp on the auger. This is totally normal. Don't be alarmed if it happens. And of course, there's pulp underneath the auger. And then of course, inside the juicing screen, you guys can see we have a pulp inside the juicing screen. This is normal. You just have to clean that off. And then inside the juicing bowl, you guys can see there's just some, some pulp that you have to clean out. Next, going into the catch cup that catches all the pulp. This is all pulp that was created. And if I take this out and wring it, I mean, to me this seems pretty dry. I mean, I'm wringing it, I'm squeezing pulp between my hands, and I'm not even thinking I'm getting a squeeze of juice in there. So actually, it was pretty impressive to me on how well the Hurom actually was efficient, how efficient it was. Over on the Kuvings, a little bit different story. Let's go ahead and take this guy apart here very carefully and show you guys. So underneath this machine, you know, there's a significant amounts of apple pulp that's in there. And now you're thinking, if you guys are the, you know, the Kuvings factory, John, why did you use only apples? Because if you just did a couple carrots in there, this would not even be a situation. Why are you showing our machine in a bad light? You know, I don't try to show anybody's machines in a bad light. I just kind of show what happens, right? This is what happens when I juice my apples in here and without any kind of hard carrots to push it through. You guys are going to get pulp stuck in here that is not getting juiced. Now, what could you do? You could scrape this pulp out, put it back in here, put this and reassemble it. It'll probably push it through the juicer to get it juiced, or you could juice some carrots in here. And this is why it made less yield, because this is what happens on the big feed chute machines. As much as you guys think, oh yeah, big feed chute, that's great because it makes it easy to put stuff in, which it does save time, but the challenge is you're always going to have more unjuiced produce in this style machine than others, in my opinion and based on my experience, all right? Next, let's go ahead and pull the auger out of this machine. And the auger coming out, the auger has a lot more pulp on it than the Hurom auger, another reason for the disparity in the yields, all right? And then next we got the screen coming out. So once again on the screen, you know, a lot more pulp inside the screen on the Kuvings. Now you might be saying, John, if you let that run more, then it might get more of it out. And so that might be true. I felt that I let it run a fair bit amount of time, but if I let it run longer, some of that stuff may have gotten through. The other challenge is when you're juicing any soft fruit items or anything soft such as fruits, you know, juicers in general need hard fiber to push that soft stuff through. So this would be a much better recipe if I just added at least, you know, a couple carrots to it and put some carrots in between, maybe do 2 apples, 1 carrot. It would have worked a lot better than what I'm showing you guys now. But this is what I had to juice today. I had apples, I had some lemon and ginger. This is what I want to make, so I'm showing you guys actually what happens. So just know this, every juicer has its pros and cons, and that's why I make these videos for you guys, so you guys can see exactly what happens. But this is the amazing thing about the Kuvings. Look at that. The bowl is super simple, super easy to clean. There's basically no residues in there. Now we're going to go ahead and check out the pulp in the Kuvings. The pulp in the Kuvings actually is fairly dry. If I squeeze it, once again, in my opinion, I'm squeezing less juice than even out of the Hurom, which I thought it did a good job. Because I'm just squeezing pulp and I'm not even getting any kind of dribbles in between my fingers where that's happening. So, I mean, overall, the Kuvings, in my opinion, on some level was more efficient, although it just didn't get all that extra produce into the machine to get juiced. And if it did, I think it would have beat the Hurom in terms of the yield. Well, today I've made a big mess, and you guys also saw when I'm taking apart some of the machines what you'll have to clean when you're done juicing, and in my opinion, the Hurom will take longer to clean. Oh, and I want to actually look at this here. Oh, so yeah, you can't really see that. So the screen is the hardest part to clean, and both these screens look to be about similar clog with pulp, so that's going to be about the same amount of time. So yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much it for this episode. I got to clean up here. I got to clean these juicers and do some other stuff today. But I think in the end, I want to sum this video up. You know, I want to say that in my opinion, I wouldn't buy the Hurom for a $150 premium price over the EVO820. You know, although this made 150 milliliters less of juice, if you added a carrot to it or a couple carrots, I think it would have been pretty much on par. It definitely saved you like half the time. Like it took twice as long to juice the same amount in the H-AI, like in my opinion, unless you're just doing 1 cup of juice where you could just put all this stuff in there and get changed and dressed for work, put your makeup on and come back and the juicer's done, where that might be a good thing because you don't want to sit there and keep feeding produce items in. That's where probably the benefit of the H-AI is, but for most people I would say save your $650 and, you know, get the Kuvings EVO820 or even another juicer that, doesn't have the, in my opinion, gimmicky automatic cutting, which I think is a good concept overall, but maybe just not marketed properly. So I'm going to have to declare the winner of this episode, the Kuvings EVO820. Although it didn't make as much yield, it took half the time to juice, it's going to be easier to clean and cost less money, and more importantly, has a 10-year warranty on the entire machine instead of just on the motor, right? And I would encourage Hurom, if they're watching this, to improve your machines, make your warranty better. That's something you could change in an instant. You could update your websites tomorrow and retroactively have longer warranties for all your older customers. You could do small things to make your products a lot better, and I hope you guys continue to innovate, and all juicer companies innovate in the future. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this episode, hey, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up. That'll encourage me to make more juicer comparison videos in the future. Be sure also to share this video with somebody else that may be considering buying Hurom H-AI or the Kuvings EVO820. Also be sure to click that subscribe button right down below and make sure you click the little bell so you get notified when my new videos come out. I have new videos coming out every 5 to 7 days. You never know what new juice or what new vacuum blender I'll be comparing so that you guys can get more fruits and vegetables into you. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 500 episodes at this time on this YouTube channel, comparing and contrasting all the different major brand juicers so that you guys get the right one the first time. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.